There's a question floating around the internet that nobody really wants to ask out loud, but everyone's thinking it. Why can't Krishan Rock's baby walk or talk? Not at 9 months, not at a year. And now, even past that, the little boy still isn't doing things most babies mastered long ago. He doesn't say mama, he doesn't crawl, he doesn't even lift his own head properly. And yet Krishan keeps smiling like nothing's wrong, posting videos, going live, laughing off the questions. But behind every clip, behind every viral moment, something isn't adding up. Because this isn't just about a baby who's a little behind. People are starting to wonder if something much deeper, much darker is going on. And what they're discovering has left even her most loyal fans speechless. But it all started with one video. When Krishan first introduced her son to the world, people were excited. She was loud, she was proud, she called him a blessing and held him up for the camera like he was the prize she'd been waiting her whole life for. But even in those early clips, something felt off. The baby didn't move much. He didn't cry. He didn't focus on her face. His body looked limp, like a rag doll in her arms. And when she bounced him, he barely reacted. Some fans brushed it off, said he was just tired, just sleepy. But others weren't so convinced. He's too still, one commenter wrote. That baby doesn't look right. More people started chiming in. Pediatric nurses, moms, child development experts. And slowly, the excitement turned into confusion, and confusion turned into fear. Because month after month, Krishan's baby wasn't growing the way he should. And no matter how many people asked, she kept dodging the real answer. But what came next would take the internet from concerned to horrified. At 3 months, Krishan Jr. couldn't hold up his head. At 6 months, he wasn't rolling over, wasn't babbling, wasn't making eye contact. At 9 months, still no crawling, no clapping, no teeth, no laughing sounds, not even the basic coos most infants make. Meanwhile, Krishan was still recording herself at the gym, dancing in clubs and going live with the baby on her lap like a prop. Every time she showed him, people begged her, take him to a doctor, get him checked, please do something. But she either laughed or snapped. And as the months dragged on with no sign of progress, the internet erupted with questions. Some people said he might be delayed. Others said this wasn't a delay. It was a diagnosis waiting to happen. One comment read, that baby doesn't need TikTok, he needs therapy. And that's when the theory started to spiral out of control. You name the platform, Reddit, TikTok, Instagram. Everyone had a theory. Some claimed the baby might have a condition called Cre-du-Chat syndrome, a rare genetic disorder that affects muscle control and facial development. Others speculated it could be fetal alcohol syndrome, based on Krishan's wild behavior during pregnancy and rumors that she drank while carrying the child. Doctors began posting breakdowns of Krishan's videos, pointing out signs of neurological issues. Pediatric experts gave silent diagnoses through anonymous blogs. Some even used CDC charts to show just how far behind the baby really was. Meanwhile, TikTok sleuths zoomed in on footage, slowed it down, and played back clips frame by frame to analyze every movement or lack of movement. It wasn't gossip anymore, it was an investigation. And the more people looked, the more questions they had. Why is this baby so far behind? Why won't Krishan get help? And what is she hiding? Because her next move didn't calm the rumors. It only added fuel to the fire. As the internet exploded with questions about her son's health, Krishan finally decided to address the rumors head on. In an Instagram live that quickly went viral, she smirked at the camera and said, "Y'all worried about my baby like he ain't perfect. He just taking his time." But her words didn't match her tone. She was giggling, distracted, waving the baby around like a handbag. Every time someone asked about therapy or checkups, she rolled her eyes or changed the subject. She said, "I know my baby. I'm his mama. He don't need no doctors." But people watching couldn't shake the feeling that something was very, very wrong. One moment she was laughing. The next she was sobbing uncontrollably, holding the baby too tight, saying things like, "I don't know what I'm doing," before snapping back into a smile like nothing happened. Fans weren't just confused anymore, they were scared. And then came the footage that made the internet stop cold. A video surfaced of Krishan in the gym, doing reps with her baby in her arms. He wasn't in a car seat, he wasn't even supported. She was lifting weights while loosely holding him, his head wobbling with every movement. People in the comments were horrified. "That's not safe," one user wrote. Another said, "And this is neglect. Full stop." Then came the live stream where she yanked him off a bed mid-cry to show him to the camera. He didn't resist, didn't flinch, didn't even make eye contact. In another video, she shouted over him as he sat in a stroller, completely silent and still, while she danced and ranted in the background. Every clip made people more uncomfortable. It wasn't just the baby's condition, it was how Krishan responded to it. As one fan put it, it's like she's showing him off, but she's not seeing him. Still, no apology, no checkups, no explanation. And the silence from medical professionals only made things worse until one finally broke it. After months of speculation, a popular pediatrician on TikTok posted a reaction video that went viral in hours. She didn't name Krishan directly. She didn't have to. In the video, she watched a clip of a baby who couldn't hold his head up, who didn't babble, who didn't engage, and calmly said, "These are not typical signs. This child is displaying symptoms of serious neurological delay." Another pediatric nurse posted a breakdown saying the baby showed signs of hypotonia, extremely low muscle tone often linked to genetic or developmental conditions. Others pointed out how he didn't track motion, respond to noise, or exhibit emotional cues like most children his age. They weren't attacking, they were warning. One even said the longer this child goes without therapy or professional help, the more irreversible the damage becomes. It wasn't about drama anymore, it was about danger. And that's when rumors of legal action started bubbling to the surface. Whispers began spreading that Child Protective Services had received calls about Krishan and her baby. Nothing was confirmed, no official reports, no public investigation, but the timing was suspicious. Krishan suddenly disappeared from social media for days. No new baby posts, no live streams, no chaotic updates. When she finally reappeared, her energy was different. She looked exhausted. Her smile was forced. And during one live, with tears in her eyes, she muttered, "They trying to take my baby from me." That one sentence set the internet on fire. Was CPS involved? Had someone filed a report? Was she finally being forced to face the truth? No one knew for sure. But something had changed, and just when people thought it couldn't get any messier, the baby's father decided to speak, and what he said next shocked even Krishan's harshest critics. Blueface had been quiet for months, watching, liking tweets, occasionally subtweeting Krishan. But then, out of nowhere, he snapped. He posted a photo of the baby and captioned it, "Ain't no way this mine." The internet exploded. People were stunned, not just by what he said, but by how he said it. Cold, brutal, no concern, no empathy, just straight up denial. He followed it up with tweets comparing Krishan Jr. to his other kids, claiming "my other sons walked by now," and suggesting the baby must have had some other issue going on. Some fans thought he was trolling, others believed he was lashing out because of guilt, but many were just angry. "Say what you want about Krishan," one person wrote, "but don't come for your own son like that." Still, Blueface didn't back down. In fact, he started dropping even darker hints, suggesting Krishan might have been lit during her pregnancy. And while he offered no proof, it only gave more fuel to the fire that was already burning. But Krishan's response wasn't rage, it was silence. And then she vanished. For weeks there was nothing. No updates, no live streams, no gym videos, not a single post showing the baby. Krishan was still online, but not with her son. People started asking questions. Where is he? Did something happen? Was CPS involved? The silence was deafening. Some speculated the baby had been taken. Others thought she was hiding him after Blueface's comments. A few even wondered if she was being forced offline by legal action. And just as panic was starting to peak, Krishan reappeared, smiling, makeup done, sitting in her car, acting like nothing happened. But when someone asked about the baby during her live stream, her entire face changed. She went quiet for 5 full seconds. Then she said, "He with my family, he good." No pictures, no video, no proof. And just like that, she moved on. But when she finally brought him back on camera, it didn't feel like a comeback. It felt like a cover-up. Weeks later, she posted a video holding her son again, but something didn't sit right. He looked the same. Same posture, same blank expression. Still no speech, still no eye contact, no interaction. Just stillness. Some viewers even questioned whether the footage was old. "This is a recycled video," one commenter claimed. "She wore that outfit 3 months ago," in another post. People began side-by-side comparisons, analyzing timestamps, zooming in on background clues, and the more they looked, the more suspicious it became. Was she showing new footage or hiding something worse? In one clip, the baby rocked back and forth repeatedly, a self-soothing behavior often linked to overstimulation or developmental conditions. "He's not okay," one fan wrote, and she knows it. Still, Krishan said nothing. No update, No medical news, no progress to celebrate, just silence, and the kind of silence that screams louder than words ever could. Despite the backlash, Krishan tried to keep up appearances. She posted laughing videos, dance clips, even gym selfies, but something was missing. Her smile didn't look the same. Behind the glitz and glitter, fans noticed the cracks. In one clip, she was smiling, but if you look closely, her eyes were watery. Her voice trembled. She paused mid-sentence, blinked fast, and said, "I just be trying, y'all." Another time, she whispered off camera, "I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying. I swear I'm trying." But then she'd snap back, flipping her hair, changing the subject. The internet was watching someone unravel in real time, not in a dramatic way, not in an explosive meltdown, but in slow motion. And through it all, the baby sat in the background, still not walking, still not talking, still just existing, not playing, not laughing, not thriving, existing. And the question everyone's afraid to ask now is the one we can't ignore anymore. By now, most of the internet had made up its mind. Something was wrong with Krishan Jr. But the real question was, can it still be fixed? According to early childhood experts, there's a critical window in every child's development, usually before the age of 3, where intervention can make the biggest difference. Therapies, speech coaching, muscle stimulation, even medications in some cases. If caught early, some children make huge strides. Some go from completely nonverbal to speaking short sentences. Some learn to walk with assistance, build strength, and gain independence. But that kind of progress doesn't happen by accident. It takes work, structure, time, and most importantly, the willingness to face the truth. And that's the part people are starting to doubt Krishan even wants. Because to face the truth, she'd have to admit something might be wrong. And for someone who's built their image on being unbothered, that might be the one thing she's not ready to do. In between the Instagram filters and messy live streams, there have been moments, small ones, raw ones, moments where Krishan's voice breaks, where her eyes linger on her baby just a little too long. In one video, she softly told him, "You gonna be okay." But the way she said it, quiet, almost like a prayer, didn't sound confident. It sounded scared. In another clip, she looked at him while wiping his mouth and whispered, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," over and over again. She tries to brush it off, laugh through the pain, dance through the doubt, but it's there. You can see it because deep down she knows. She knows the milestones aren't being met. She knows the eyes of the world are watching. She knows the comments aren't just hate, they're warning signs. But the more she pretends everything is fine, the more time slips away. And time, when it comes to a child like this, is the one thing you can't afford to lose. For all the chaos we've seen, we still don't know what happens when the camera's off. When it's just Krishan and that little boy in a quiet room. Is he comforted? Is he fed on time? Is he stimulated with toys, music, and therapy, things he desperately needs? Or is he just there, laying in silence, staring at nothing, falling behind while his mother live streams and dances in another room? No one can say for sure, but what we do know is this: social media doesn't lie. You can filter a photo, edit a caption, fake a vibe, but video doesn't lie. And we've seen enough to know that something's off. This isn't about canceling Chrisean Rock. This isn't about drama. This is about a baby who may never talk, a baby who may never walk, a baby who might spend the rest of his life limited, not because he had to, but because no one stepped in when it mattered most. And the scariest part, that might already be happening. The internet loves chaos. It loves a headline, a meme, a scandal. But this story isn't just a trending topic, it's a cry for help, a silent one. And while the world scrolls past, makes jokes, and picks sides, a child is sitting in the middle of it all, unable to speak for himself. So maybe it's not about whether Krishan is a good mom or a bad one. Maybe it's not even about what Blueface said. Maybe the real question is, who's going to do something before it's too late? Because if no one steps up, if no one takes this seriously, that little boy might grow up trapped in silence, not because of what's wrong with him, but because of what everyone refused to do when they still had the chance. Let's all wish for the best for Krishan and her beautiful baby boy. I mean, no disrespect to this family. Maybe people are overanalyzing the situation. What do you think? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Also, please like and subscribe if you like the vibes by Clyde.